Hi, I'm Mel, and I am choosy. My ultimate skin goal is gusto kong mag-even out ang skin tone ko.
Hi, my name is Gian Anwada. My skin goals are to become whiter, fairer, healthier, and younger.
It really shows na yung skin ko ngayon mas moisturized, mas glowing, and mas healthy.
Thanks to Glutasy, I got my skin tone back. Thank you so much, Glutasy.
Okay, and we're live. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Good morning to our Zoom participants. Good morning to our FB Live viewers. So it's another fun-filled e-learning session powered by Ariva Academy. Welcome, everyone. So my name is Irish Malonda Samson, and I'm your host. With me is Mr. Howell Mabalot, my co-host and moderator, and Ariva partner speaker. Hi, Sir Howell.
Hi, Madam President Irish Malonda Samson. Always a pleasure to work with you this pandemic.
Okay, so this is the third series of our HR Virtual Summit PH, Bounce Back HR, Sharpen the Resilience for the New Normal World of Work. And we have invited another global guru, sir. I'm
Wow.
excited to meet him in a while. But before that, please allow me to acknowledge some of our out of the country participants. And they are from New Delhi, India, Malaysia, and Singapore. Thank you for joining us today. And in order for us to have a smooth flow of our e-learning session, here are the house rules. May I know who are the first timers here in our webinar? Please do type hi in the chat box now. Let me see who are the first timers. Hello there. Okay, so yan, Melanie Dao Ines, welcome to our e-learning session. Ms. Emeline, okay, Natasha, hello, welcome to our e-learning session. And we wanted to know if you can hear us loud and clear. So you will be needing a good quality headset, and please use the following codes. Type 111 to show if you can hear us. Okay, loud and clear, Sir Jonathan, Marielle, okay, loud and clear. 222 means you can hear us. 2121 means our sound is breaking up. There's a log and question mark if you don't understand anything. Okay, all is well and clear. 111 from Mercedita Nunez. Okay, thank you, ma'am. And we will be having a 2 to 3 minute break, a quick break later after the presentation of our guest speaker and before we move on to the question and answer. Okay. Participants' microphones will be temporarily disabled by the administrator during discussion to avoid interruptions. Questions will be entertained after each topic of the session. For questions and clarifications during the provided time after each topic, please click the raise hand button for the administrator to enable the microphone for live questions. Type in your questions at the Q&A box. One question at a time will be entertained. For comments and feedback, please do scan this QR code. This will be directed to our feedback form. I'll give you time. Okay, you can scan this now. Please send us your feedback, your comments, ideas, topics to discuss so that we can improve our future e-learning sessions. Okay, and our topic this morning, why the COVID-19 crisis is ideal to improve your organizational culture. We have invited a global guru, and Sir Howell, please do the honors in introducing our guest speaker.
Definitely, definitely. Thank you so much, Madam President Irish Malonda Samson. It is an honor to always introduce our global speakers. And this time, he has ranked number 4 of the world's top 30 thought leaders in both leadership and organizational culture categories by global gurus. He has 25 years experience specializing in psychological approaches to leadership and corporate culture transformation. Wow. He is a renowned motivational leadership keynote speaker and trainer globally and has advanced corporate trainings with innovative techniques and tools that have been acknowledged by some of the world's greatest organizations. Based in Bali, Indonesia, everybody give it up for Mr. Arthur Carmazzi.
Yeah!
Yeah! How are you, Sir Arthur?
Thank you much for that awesome introduction.
And thank you for your high energy this morning.
Yeah, well, you know, we're online. I mean, if we're going to be boring, then nobody's going to stay and watch.
I agree. Speaking of watch, we have Facebook live streaming and hundreds and hundreds of people, and then eventually thousands of people are watching us right now. FB Live, thousands eventually. And this will be uploaded on YouTube. And we're still live streaming via YouTube. And another platform is LinkedIn. So we are multi-platform now. We are in social media in all parts of the world. People are watching us.
Awesome.
So no pressure on you, sir.
That's all right. It's still a lot easier because I'm still just talking to a camera instead of, you know, talking to like 12,000 people in a room, right?
Are you the type of a person who becomes more energized, more excited when you see thousands and thousands of people?
Yeah, I'm kind of hyperactive ever since I was a kid, which was a big problem for my teachers.
But you were able to turn it around.
Yeah, absolutely. That's one of my superpowers.
Thank you for that. So, sir, what will happen now, Sir Arthur, is that we'll give you the center stage, the platform, so that you can freely discuss your material. And then after you have presented your material, I will come in and for the Q&A.
Awesome.
Facilitate and moderate the Q&A.
Okay, now I would like to also ask for some participation in the audience in general to just kind of get an idea of who's there first before we kind of go on and throughout the program. So for those of you that are out in the audience, I would like you to just quickly write down whether you are either, okay, HR, if you're HR related, just write HR. If in the chat box, if you're training related, that means you're a trainer or a consultant or a coach or something like that, just put expert, okay? And if you're in the wrong webinar and you've got something, you know, you just kind of have nothing better to do and you just kind of wanted to show up, and then just write other. Or actually write down what it is that you are. So either something in HR, something in the expert field, well, the HR, okay, employee relations, all that stuff is all kind of counted in HR. Business owner, okay, all right, yes, business owners are good, okay, awesome. Okay, so that just having a general idea of who is there. Awesome, awesome. Okay, HR and business owners, senior managers, Okay, consultants, awesome, fantastic. All right. Okay. Awesome. 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 Okay. So I'm getting a much better idea. All right. So what we're gonna do is I do, of course, have some slides because we do slides, and so I am going to play some slides for you. Well, not play them, but I am going to go ahead and share the slides with you. All right. Okay. We are ready for that.
We are ready. Take it away. Take the spotlight and the center stage, Sir Arthur Carmazzi.
Right, and here we are. Okay, you can see the slides, right? It says, what does it say?
Why the COVID-19 crisis?
That is correct. You win. Yay! Okay, so, all right. So here's what we're going to do. Okay, first of all, we are going to basically talk a little bit about, about this whole COVID-19 thing. All right, and why essentially this is all happening and everything else. But before we do, just in case, I mean, I've Mr. Mavalat has given me this awesome thing, but at the end of the day, I mean, who am I? I've written a whole bunch of books, ranked in the number 4 in organizational culture. But one of the key things that you should do with any speaker. Okay, don't, because everybody's going to tell you how awesome they are and everything else. But, the reality is, if you're going to listen to somebody, I mean, you got to make sure they're credible. So look them up on Google. Look them up on Google. So please feel free to just look me up on Google rather than having me tell you how awesome I am. Because essentially that Google is not going to lie. Okay, so let's just kind of go through the idea of some of the research that's been done about engagement. Okay, now engagement as a global problem has been essentially a global problem, and where you literally have only about 18% recently, according to a Gallup study, of the world's workforce that is engaged, which kind of sucks because that means that pretty much everybody else is less engaged, or for that matter, actively disengaged, which sucks even more. All right. So now, based on another study that we've done, all right, so let's just take organizational culture. All right. So organizational culture, when we did our study, the mean of organizational culture meant that 100 people did the work of, 100 people. I mean, that makes sense, right? Okay. So the problem was that in a lower culture, okay, in a culture that was considered not a good organizational culture, 100 people were doing the work of 168 people. Sorry, 68 people, not 168 people. All right, which basically mean that based on the average, that the ROI you're getting on your people was already 32% less effective, and that's based on the mean. Okay, but in a positive organizational culture, or what was considered a good culture by the people themselves, okay, 100 people were doing the work of 151 people. All right, now this is the basic math. Now, for those of you that are math whizzes, you're saying, but Arthur, how can you possibly get 151% efficiency? Well, see, that's the thing, right? It's not really 151%. Okay. See, when people are operating at their actual best means that if you hire me, and let's just say, for example, you hire me at $1,000 a month. Okay. Well, the expectation is that you're paying me $1,000 a month, that my value is going to be $1,000 a month. And if I am operating at my potential, I am giving you $1,000 a month worth of my value. Okay. The problem is that most cultures, the mean is actually lower, or creating a lower potential for the average person. So in a high performing culture, basically what you're getting is people who are already producing at their potential. Anything else is less than their potential. But based on the average, that is 151% more than most organizations. Okay? So why is this important? Well, because culture essentially is one of the elements that we're going to be talking about today. And it's important because we have a once literally in a lifetime opportunity, at least we hope, with this whole COVID-19 thing to improve our organizational culture. And I'm going to share with you how, but can you give you a little bit of an idea. So first of all, in the chat right now, I would like you to tell me, okay, whether you believe that organizational culture and engagement, okay, are essentially connected. Do you think that a higher organizational culture improves engagement? Okay, do you think that a better organizational culture improves engagement? So just on a scale of 1 to 5, put 5, it's the most. Yes, it definitely improves engagement. And 1, it's not really connected so much. So just write down what you think. So scale of 1 to 5. Okay, awesome. So most of the people out there think that, yes, okay, that 5, essentially, organizational culture improves engagement. Now, there's a lot of factors in organizational culture, like leadership, for example, which we'll kind of go into in a little bit. But for the most part, organizations feel that engagement is very important, and engagement does definitely relate to efficiency, productivity, and more importantly, innovation, especially nowadays. Would you agree with that? Okay, so if we've got 82% basically of the worldwide workforce that is not really engaged, that means that a lot of our organizations, a lot of our people are not really producing at their potential. Now, if you take Gallup's study, and basically they found that 59% lower turnover when people are engaged, and 21% higher profitability for companies who have engaged individuals, which also is directly related to organizational culture. Okay, so now enter the coronavirus. Dun, dun, dun! Okay, and the coronavirus now, everybody's freaking out, and everybody's like, now you're stuck at home, and you've got all these different problems, and you got all these things going on, and people are starting to feel uncertain and everything else, and stressed out. Hey, I got a question for you. Okay, how many of you, on a scale of 1 to 5, all right, 5 being totally stressed out, unsure, okay, and 1 being like, hey, I'm chilled, man, everything is cool, I like being at home, home is the best place to be, okay, and of course 3 is like right in the middle, right? Okay, so 5 being totally like stressed out, 1 being totally in the zone, and 3 being kind of right in the middle. So where are you now in this whole coronavirus thing? Okay, are you feeling uncertain, kind of stressed, irritable, or are you kind of like, feeling good? What's the deal? Okay, so we got, all right, awesome. Okay, so we've got, okay, so we got a good mix there of people. All right, okay. 2.5. There's always somebody. All right. Okay. So let us continue on. All right. So the current state of uncertainty and disruption, you've got a lot of people who are freaked out, especially related to their jobs. I mean, that's really the kind of the thing is like, the normal job that people were doing is a little bit different, right? There's people that are not necessarily, they're not really doing it as much in the way that they were before. People are often feeling a little bit uncertain about, am I adding value? I mean, what's going to happen later? And uncertainty, of course, creates cortisol in your body, which essentially makes you get sick more easily. And you'll notice, even if you don't get the coronavirus, there's been a lot of people that have been getting more sick, okay? And the reason is not because there's just more flu and more stuff out there, but because your immune system is down because of uncertainty and fear and these different things that are happening during this unique time in our lives, right? And sometimes people are at home, they're just kind of like thinking and oh, what's going to happen, when we go back, and all these different things, which kind of is not necessarily good for people. So, okay, here's the opportunity. And now let me ask you a question on this, all right? Okay, so first of all, okay, I'm just going to go through this, and then I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to go through these 3 points. First of all, do you think that organizations want to improve work culture in general? Not now, okay? I'm just talking in general, okay? But the problem, one of the biggest problems with organizations that have wanted to improve their work culture, basically it's too busy. I mean, they've got all these things going on, they've got these things happening, and so therefore, well, basically they don't do it because too much work, too much expense, and you got to get all this stuff done, okay? Number one. Now, people in general, okay, definitely want to have a better working environment, but they get to work and it's like they got to focus on their jobs and they're just too busy to actually focus on the environment and creating a better workplace and everything else because they're busy, okay? And of course, if okay, people had the potential to be listened to on literally how to create their organization so that they could be more successful in the organization and be more productive, do you think that people would get excited? Okay, so I just want to ask you, in your opinion, okay, is this true? Are these 3 statements true? Okay, do you believe that these statements are true? So just write down yes, no, okay, based on your opinion. So do you think that these statements are true? All right. Okay, so we've got, okay, yes, okay. Awesome. All right, and this is essentially what we find as well. I mean, how many of you have been in that situation where you just know you could do more? I mean, you've got these ideas and everything else, but for some reason your supervisor's just not letting you, or you're stuck because there's just too much work to do and you've got your KPIs and you just don't have time to actually go into it. But that you could do so much better if people would just allow you to just kind of come up with implementing some ideas, okay? But we just don't, or they don't listen, okay? And so that essentially is where this opportunity comes in, because right now we're not that busy. We're not as busy as we used to be. We're not busy doing all these different things, and we're not busy doing all those other things. And now we've got a lot of time to think and innovate and get together, virtually, of course, but still the opportunity to come together and do some serious teamwork, okay, is better now than it ever has been before, because we don't have all of these other time constraints and everything else that we've got. So, okay, here's the thing. Crisis, and tell me if you believe this to be true or not, all right? Crisis brings people together if they have a common goal, okay? Yes or no? Just type it in there. Do you think yes or this is a true statement? Okay. Crisis brings people together if they have a common goal. And this thing here, see, this is, for those of you, anybody that knows history, if you'll notice, let's say, for example, Arminius basically got all of the Germanic tribes that were being oppressed by the Romans, and they were all fighting against each other, and he united them against the Romans, which of course was the beginning of the fall of the Roman Empire. But the thing is that, see, that was a crisis. People were being oppressed and everything else. But now, because they all got together, they were able to have a major force, and a force that literally toppled one of the major empires in the past. And think of what we could do for our positive organizational culture if we could come together to basically solve all of our problems that we've been having before this whole coronavirus thing happened. What if we could really bring out the best of who we were and work together and come together to innovate and solve the problems that our organizations have? Do you think that people would be excited? Okay. Now, in order to do this, we have to have essentially one idea. Okay. We have to have one thing which we consider the common purpose, the common goal. Now, I would like to ask you a question. Do you believe that people have the same idea or similar, very, very similar ideas for the ideal working environment, or that they would be totally different? Okay, just write either say similar or different inside the chat, okay, based on what you think. Okay? What do you think? Similar ideas or different? Write it down. What do you think? Okay, we got a lot of people saying different, 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 different. Okay. Very different ideas. Okay. I'm going to tell you something, okay, that this is based on our research in 57 different countries, okay? Everybody was asked, everybody from CEOs to janitors, okay? PhDs to high school dropouts, okay? Different cultures, different religions, different customs, young people, old people, okay? I mean, different, literally a complete cross-reference of humanity across the world. And pretty much everybody has similar ideas to what the ideal working environment is. Would you like me to share those with you? That was a question. Okay. All right. So here what we're here. I'm going to share it with you. Okay, you ready? I'm going to share it with you. And then you tell me if this is right. All right. All right. First of all, okay, people want teamwork. Okay, so I mean, yeah, we want to work together. We want to have teamwork. We want people to connect and communicate with each other. So teamwork is one of the key things. All right, and I want you to think about this as I'm telling you this. Is this something that you would want? Okay, now people want trust, something related to trust. Now, trust could be something like, oh, I want to be innovative, or I want to try things my own way. I want to, implement my own ideas. Okay, but for some reason, people just don't let me do it. They don't trust me. Okay. But trust also meant, where people will essentially trust that you're going to be accountable for your work also. So from a management perspective, yeah, I got to be able to trust that people really want to do and are implementing what they want. So something related to trust, either being trusted to do stuff or essentially being able to trust other people to do what they're supposed to do. Something related to clarity. Right? Clarity could be things like transparency. I mean, if I know what's going on, it's a lot easier for me to actually come up with a overall perspective of what I should do. Clarity on what I need to do. Okay, what do I need to do in order to succeed? I mean, in some cases it could be structure. In some cases it could be, a vision. It could be, a variety of things. But at least, do I have a direction? Do I have a clear way of doing things or a clear direction on how to get there? So something related to clarity. Okay, and then a supportive environment. So let's say, for example, you're in the marketing department, and for some, there's something that you need, and let's say you, as the marketing guy, can go and talk to the CFO to try to rearrange the budget, and the CFO actually listens to you, and so then you've got this supportive environment where people, including the CEO and all these other people, are actually communicating, talking to each other, and trying to support each other and each department because of the common goal of the organization rather than the common goal of the department. Okay? And so then finally, of course, people want to have fun. People want, do you like having fun? I mean, who wants to go to work and be boring all the time? I mean, that sucks, man. So, okay, first of all, do you agree in general that these are that you would want these things? Okay, because this is more or less, okay, what most people come up with across 57 different countries. These are the basic ideas that most people come up with, regardless of culture, age, position, etc. Okay, do you agree? Yes or no? Okay, all right. Yes. Okay, so that means we have a common vision. We have a common vision. But the reason, even though we have this common vision, we've always had this common vision, okay? The thing is that we don't implement it because we're all focused on the process instead of the actual objective. We're all busy, okay? Until now, this unique opportunity. So now if we have human beings and we put them together with a purpose. And that purpose would be basically to create the ideal working environment and solve some problems. Okay? Do you think that people are going to be more excited and be more creative problem solvers and basically be more productive and come up be able to brainstorm together and come up and solve some serious problems? Just type yes if you believe that to be true. Just type yes. Do it now. Yeah. Sorry, sometimes I get a little excited. Okay, so what happens now? Okay, yes, everybody is excited. Okay, because it's true. Okay, so what happens now? We combine people with purpose and basically amazing things happen. All right, and so okay, this ideal working environment. So this is what we're going to do, okay? Because before we start anything, we have to know where we are, right? Okay, so anything that, so in order to get your people started to create this ideal working environment, okay, they need to know where they are, right? So there is essentially these different levels of organizational culture evolution, right? And so the first thing you got to know is, where are you? So that is the beginning point of your map. And why is it important to have a benchmark? Because as human beings, we want to be able to see progress. And if we can see progress, we can see that what we're doing is having an effect. And we can see that it's having an effect that gets us more excited. It's kind of like me and the violin. I don't know, does anybody play violin here? Okay, I've been trying to play violin, right? And I really suck at it. I mean, it's like I really, really suck at it. But the moment that I finished that one first song, I was very excited and I wanted to learn another song. So once you kind of get that one thing, you start to see some actual progress, it makes you excited to do more, make it bigger, be better. Okay? And so we need to know where we start. So, okay, the only problem is that if you actually look it up on Google, cost of a culture audit, it's like between $20,000 to $35,000, right? It's like the CEOs are going, holy smokes! I can't, that's crazy. And you know what? Especially right now at this time, it is crazy. Why would anybody kind of spend that kind of money for a culture audit? But what if we could do it for absolutely free? Okay, and this is something that we are actually doing. Okay, we are giving away free culture audits. Okay, for the COVID-19, and let me explain why we're doing this. Okay, there's a business reason, right? But see, here's the thing: first of all, we have trained and certified over 60 certified organizational culture consultants, okay? And so these people basically need to practice, number one. So that means when they do these culture audits, we're getting all of these people who have built up gone through this whole intensive program in order to understand how to do a culture audit. So that's one. Now, second is, okay, it's all coming through us and, our company and everything else. And what happens if you help people, eventually the people remember you after the whole thing is all over, and maybe they'll give you some business, right? So that's kind of the whole business thing behind it. So we're giving these things away, okay, so that organizations can help not just, okay, understand where they are, but also the strategy of how they can get their people excited about doing it based on whatever happens in the culture audit, okay? So all of this stuff that normally would cost between $4,000 to $12,000 is free, okay? Now, what happens in a culture audit, you get to, determine the health of the organization. But one of the key things is you identify a lot of the root cause problems of many of the different inefficiencies, okay? You help to set a direction for evolving the company some more, okay? You identify where the lost or potentially extra potential of employee groups are, okay? And of course, all of this is kind of explained what you should do next in order to evolve your company, to get your people, to facilitate your people to create this ideal working environment. And the thing is that they can do this virtually by themselves, all right? So let me kind of give you a little bit of idea of culture evolution, all right? So first of all, okay, there's 5 different levels of culture evolution. How many of you have an awareness of where your organizational culture is now? Just write yes, no, And if it's a more or less semi, not sure, just put no. Okay. So if you know what organizational culture you currently have, just put yes. If not, just put no. Okay. So this is going to give you, because often, a lot of times people are not aware that their organizational culture is creating a lot of the root cause problems in their company's efficiency and communication issues, and for that matter, profitability. Okay. So I'm just going to give you a little bit of an idea of what the different evolutions are. Okay. So first of all, the lowest possible culture is the blame culture. Now, if you're in a blame culture, it's basically not a safe environment. So that means that people are not going to be innovative, because what if they're wrong? What if they get blamed? What if, I try something and it doesn't work, and, it's just not safe? Better to just wait and let people tell me what to do. Okay, so that's the blame culture, right? So they're not really coming up with new ideas, but because they have lots of ideas, they're very frustrated. And so therefore they are not very engaged. Okay, so this makes a very inefficient organization, right? Now, the next one is the multi-directional culture. So within your department, everything's fine, right? I mean, you're communicating, you're doing your stuff, you're doing your job. Within the department, everything's okay. But when it comes to cross departments, there's not really that much communication. There's gossip. People are kind of talking about the finance department and the HR department, and and like, oh, did you hear what they did? And then and it's like, oh my gosh, no way. And so there's just, these are called silos essentially, and that affects the overall ability of the organization to achieve its goals. Okay. So the next one is the live and let live culture. Now this one, basically it's okay. I mean, we're making money, everything's fine. I mean, there's, it's not broken. Why should we fix it? So, everything just kind of goes. People show up to work, they do their jobs. I mean, it's nothing exciting, but it's not bad either. It's just kind of like the status quo, just like, I'm here, man. Do my job. Okay, and so of course then we go to the next one, which is the brand congruent culture. Now this is where you're thinking, whoa, I am part of the Ariva Academy. Okay, I am awesome because wow, this is an organization that I am proud of. Okay, whatever your brand is, whatever it is that you sell or whatever service that you do, okay, people are kind of, they're excited about it. They live this thing. It's like, whoa, and people, even after work, people say, hey, yeah, I work for this company. Yeah, I'm awesome. And so they're excited about the actual brand itself. And of course, the highest level of organizational culture, and there's not that many organizations out there that have reached this, is what we call the leadership enriched culture. Now, in this organizational culture, let's say, for example, that you have just started a new job, and you're in the organization for 3 weeks, okay? And because of your newness, you're kind of looking around and seeing what's going on and everything else. And you've got some really good ideas, and you're excited about these ideas, and you're super passionate. And so then what ends up happening is that you talk to your supervisor, and the supervisor says, hey, that's an interesting idea. And so then they get the CEO involved, and so basically now you, who've just started this job 3 weeks ago, are in charge of this project, which is your idea, and you're telling your supervisor what you need from them, and you're telling the CEO what you need from them, and they support you. Okay, because it's not an ego thing. It is about creating unified growth for the organization, and everybody basically has the opportunity to be a leader if they have the excitement, the plan, and essentially the energy to make it happen. Okay, and so this is the leadership enriched culture. Okay, so if you're going to benchmark organizational culture, we use the OCEAN tool. Okay, the OCEAN tool. Let me just kind of type down what that is. Okay, you can find that at, let's see, cultureevolution.com. There you go. I just put it in the chat. I think that's right. Okay. And okay, so I think that was sent accidentally privately, but anyway, whatever, maybe you can just put that out there to everyone. Okay, there we go. Okay, so anyway, there it is. So anyway, culture evolution. This tool, the Ocean tool, Organizational Culture Evolution Assessment Navigator, helps you to benchmark. Okay, and so as a benchmark, it gives you a place to start. But it's called a navigator because it also helps you to navigate how to get from wherever you are to the next level. And that's important because remember, measurement is a key factor in supporting people's success. Okay, so we want to show people how to measure all this and what it all means. Okay, so let me explain how this whole thing is going to help. Now, first of all, remember that one of the key things we're getting people to do is help them to create the ideal working environment. Okay, now, one of the other things that is going to need to happen, okay, is they're going to need to say, okay, here we are, we're here at this level, and we now need to evolve to the next level, or at least improve these different levels so that we can have our ideal working environment. Now, management, this is important because if you're a leader, a manager, CEO here, management needs to provide a platform and the guidelines and the permission, most important, the permission for the people to create the culture they want. And some managers and CEOs are going, oh my gosh, what if they come up with other stuff? Okay, first of all, I mean, you set a specific guidelines like you can't increase your salaries, okay? So simple things like that. But, I guarantee you, we have done this in, lots of different places, lots of different organizations, lots of different countries. And the people always are in line with what is good for the organization. I guarantee it, okay? They never, try to do something against the organization. Okay, I mean, we've done this for governments, we've done this for small organizations as well as big organizations. The people are always having in mind how they can be successful and help the organization to be successful in the process, because people want to succeed in their jobs. Okay, and when they can have the environment to do that in, okay, then they're feeling that they have a sense of ownership. So by giving them permission to come up with their culture, okay, you are essentially taking no risk. I mean, because people are generally going to be benevolent. Okay, so anyway, then of course the teams, including everyone in the organization, are essentially formed to create the ideal working environment. And you already know what the ideal working environment is. But the other thing that they want to do is that people, in order to create this ideal working environment, people are going to have to come up with certain behaviors, right? That means, if I'm going to be in this kind of, if I'm going to create this kind of working environment, one thing that we need to do is create a no blame zone, means we don't blame each other. So that is a guiding principle. So for example, and this is something that management cannot blame me. I cannot blame management. I can't blame these guys, all these different people, whatever it is that you come up with, they come up with the ideas, right? Okay. But the thing is that they hold each other accountable for the behaviors. Now, a lot of the CEOs are thinking, but Arthur, we've already got our company values, okay, that we've already created just for that purpose, okay? And I would like to ask you a question, okay? Do you have children? See, here's the thing. When you tell your children these are the rules, okay, especially as they start to get older, they sneak behind your back if the rules are a little bit, because you're the parent, right? You're the authority, okay? But if they come up with the idea themselves, okay? So for example, I say, do your homework. they will procrastinate on their homework. But if I ask them questions and they come up with a better, more fun way to do their homework, guess what? They're doing their homework. It's the same thing, right? But the thing is that they came up with the idea, and so therefore they are more excited about implementing it than if I were to tell them. And human beings that are older are just larger children. Okay, so think about that, all right? Okay, let the people come up with the guiding principles, and we use a particular tool, okay, that gamifies behavior. I'm going to put that in the chat right here. Okay, so this tool is called Squadly, and it gamifies behavior. It gamifies behavior. All right, so please, actually, I think these are going privately, so please go ahead and put them in so that everybody gets them, because I just put it in the chat. Okay, yeah, maybe not. Okay, so these are to Irish who, okay, let's see, maybe. All right, let me just redo this. It says all participants and attendees. It's not working.
Or you can try, Sir Arthur, the Q&A. You can type it there, so everybody. No, we see it now.
Oh, you see it now?
Yes, Squaddy.
Okay, there it is.
Squaddy.com.
Okay, that's one. And the previous one was this one, which was the culture tool, the ocean tool. There we go. Okay, I got it. Okay, thank you guys. Thank you. So anyway, now besides the guiding principles, all right, the other thing that people are going to want to do is they're going to want to fix some problems. All right. Now, when you get a whole bunch of people to literally come up with ideas on how to fix their own problems, I can guarantee you the people themselves are going to be way better at really solving a lot of these problems than the senior management. Why? Because the people are the ones that are in it. And just to give you an idea, right? We had, there was one organization, it's called Techneep, and we specifically worked with a joint venture between Techneep and the Malaysian ports. What Techneep does is they build offshore oil rigs, right? Okay. So anyway, senior management would, brought us in to do this culture change initiative, implementation, and everything else. One of the things the people came up with, we didn't do this. All we do is facilitate the people, right? Okay. The people came up with this idea because they had all these different engineers. They got, water engineers and fluid dynamics engineers and electrical engineers and mechanical engineers and all these different kinds of engineers, right? And they're all separated into these different divisions and departments. So the people thought, hey, because all of these guys need to be integrated and we need to move our desks. And before, of course, the senior management thought, it's kind of messy and it's not really going to be helpful. But because they were in charge and they came up with this whole thing to decide, they decided. And just a simple thing like moving the desks of different people so that they were mixed in different groups, okay, increased their productivity, their engineer productivity by something like 37%, okay? And it was just one thing and it didn't cost anything, right? So, I mean, you end up, people come up with these brilliant ideas, okay? And if you allow the people to come up with all these different ideas and come up with different ways to solve problems, and just say 3 problems. So you get these individuals to come up with 3 problems that they want to solve. And there's key influencers that are basically your informal leaders. Get them to kind of lead the teams. And then you will literally get everybody excited about not only solving your problems, but also connecting how they're solving those problems into the ideal working environment. And then, of course, you also get you get people to create who's going to be accountable, right? So in each of these different groups that are coming together to put stuff together, it's like, oh, okay, so you're going to do this and you're going to do this. And people volunteer for this stuff. People will volunteer because they have a personal vested interest. Okay. And then you elect a couple of people at the end of the program, at the end of this whole thing, to make sure that all this stuff stays implemented and that all the communications are back and forth, and that everything is communicated properly, and all of these different initiatives that the people have come up with are consistently communicated, okay, of what's going on and what's happening and what's the progress, because that is one of the key things that keeps people excited and keeps this sustainable. Okay. Now, okay, I'm not going to go into this because I don't want to go and I don't want to overshoot. But just to kind of give you, I've got a few infographics here. But tell you what, I'll give you later on. I'll give you my email and I'll send you all these infographics. But for now, just okay. Besides doing this for the culture audit, one of the key things you're going to do is get people aligned with a common vision and values. Okay, because remember those behaviors that you can use the Squadly tool for, okay, those can also be connected to the values, okay? Whenever, you know, you're doing any kind of training, whether it's online, okay, right now, for example, if you understand what your culture is first, then you actually are able to see if this training that you're doing has any effect whatsoever. Okay, a lot of times organizations are just doing training as a quick fix. Oh, we have this problem, we have this need, okay, and they're not really addressing the root cause, which is the culture, okay, and sometimes the training does some effect, and sometimes when people go back, they just get busy, and all of the training time and effort and money is basically not really as effectively implemented, okay. So by understanding the first part of, you know, of your organizational culture benchmark, you are ready to identify how to improve communications, identify the ROI on your training, and of course get people excited when they're first hired, as well as to consistently improve innovation. Now, this basically goes through the whole 12 steps of what you can do. Again, I'm not going to go through this because there's limited time, but I'll give you this infographic later on. And let me just kind of go through this one just briefly. Okay, so we've talked through the different levels of organizational culture evolution, right? Now, in order to achieve this, there's basically 5 things that need to happen, right? Number 1, okay, you have to have the greater purpose. What's the greater purpose? Ideal working environment, right? So the ideal working environment can be that greater purpose because everybody kind of connects to it, right? Now, the second thing is having a methodology for change. Now, the methodology could be something as simple as measuring behaviors and measuring the evolution, and gamifying behaviors like we did, for example, with Squadly. So it could be as simple as that, or in some cases, I mean, when we also implement directive communication psychology, which is the science of group dynamics, and get people to understand how and why they're doing what they do, and how other people are not actually doing what they think they're doing, which creates more synergy and kind of helps to have a greater understanding of how to connect and really achieve things together with people. And of course that improves relationships and everything else. Okay. So there's, everything in between it. You could have your own ideas of methodology and everything else. And then a common language. I mean, so for example, one of our models is the colored brain. Okay. So the colored brain identifies how people genetically get clarity, right? Now, it's not a personality thing. It's just how you get clarity. So it's a genetic thing. You can't change it. So here's the thing. If for example, when you're approaching something in this way, I mean, for you, it's kind of like you're looking through colored glasses. I mean, it's just obvious. It's common sense, right? But somebody else looks at the same thing and they're looking like, what? Okay. And so what ends up happening is that there's a lot of misunderstanding, miscommunication, and also people start to judge each other, which creates a reduction in trust. Okay. And it's all just because of a genetic function of how you get clarity. Okay. And so by helping people to kind of understand this, and there's an online system that connects everybody and shows where everybody is in their danger zone and everything else, and helps them to get out of the danger zone and gamifies it as well, what happens is that people tend to be more aware, and they use the languages, like, for example, oh dude, you're green brain now, okay, but remember I'm purple. And so therefore they start using the language of what it all means and doing it in a fun way. So there is a predefined communication that is non-confrontational that basically helps people to get things done. Now the next one is the unified identity, and this one's super important. Okay, unified identity is the club. I mean, if you're going to create a culture, you're going to get your people to create a culture. This is super important. Your people need to own the culture. The culture is not owned by the organization. The people need to own the culture. Why? Because, you know, they're the ones that are creating it, and they're the ones that are perpetuating it. And as new people come in, they continue to perpetuate it if those people feel that they have a sense of ownership, right? Okay. And when, you know, so for example, when we do these implementation programs, people choose, names for their culture, like, oh, we're the revolutionary patriots, or we're the Knights of Transformation, or the rainbow, what do they call, the rainbow pioneers of success. So they got all these different names that they come up with, right? But, you know, people, it's like, I belong to the club. And there's always going to be those few people that are like, why are you having so much fun? Okay, this is supposed to be work. It's supposed to be difficult. Okay, you're not supposed to be happy. Okay, and so you got a few of those, right? And what ends up happening is that they end up kind of not being in the club, okay, because they're like that, right? And so therefore, eventually, either they quit, get fired, or join the club, and that's a key factor. And then, of course, the supportive environment in this case means, like, let's say that me as a person want to, let's say, stop smoking, okay? And that means that I tell everybody, hey, I want to stop smoking. And the people, because they're in part of my supportive environment, help me to personally achieve my goal. Okay, like you guys were playing that skin thing commercial in the beginning. Hey, you know, it's like, help me to get my skin feeling good and stuff, right? So you can do all kinds of stuff with that. Okay, so if you want to find out more about the process, there's this giant article at culturechange.academy. Here, let me go ahead and so this is just an article about everything that I've talked about, and I'm going to put that right here. Okay, and so that okay, that works. Okay, so this gives you this will tell you more or less the entire process in much more detail than what I was just talking about now. Okay, and it's a long document. Okay, so putting the unified identity, because people own it. Okay, I mean the culture belonging to the people, and then again, I'm not going to go through this in detail, but this is where you have to have once you get this started, make sure that you have your people that kind of show the journey and show what's happening at each stage in the journey. And then we've created these infographics to help people kind of show what's going on and what's happening and everything else. And get people to map out their success. I mean, that's really the key. Remember, measurement supports progress and excitement and passion. Okay, and once you've got people to the point, then of doing something, and look what we've done, and we've created these guiding principles, we've done this, then measure the organizational culture again, and and then it'll compare what you did with the benchmark against where you are now. Okay, and all of this is part of the thing that we're talking about, where we're going to absolutely help you for free. Now, if you'd like the slides and the infographics, go ahead and send me an email, okay, right here, if you want all of the slides and graphics, okay, just right here, and let me put my email in here as well. Okay, so so you can just send me an email. I'll send you all of the slides and the graphics from that. Okay, now additionally, okay, I have okay, so we've got a little bit of time. I'm going to share with you just briefly some of the different things that we've done with some of the clients that we've had. Okay, so for example, these are real statistics from situations that we've done. So this is Emirates Hotels, right? Now, one of the things that we helped to achieve with Emirates Hotels was a 62% increase in productivity in housekeeping. Right now, let me explain a little bit about this. See, before, these were big, giant rooms at Emirates Hotels, and so they had 2 housekeeping guys, and they had to do 8 rooms up to specs. And so they were always complaining, oh, you don't know how hard it is to, achieve these, and you don't have any idea how difficult it is, and, management is just, they don't understand, and yada, 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 yada. Okay, at the end of this program, the same people, okay, we're basically saying, oh man, hey, we did 11 rooms, man. And the other guys, no way, 11. Oh, you just watch. Tomorrow we're going to do 12. And they were excited. It's the same rooms. Okay, the same rooms they were complaining about doing 8. And now they're, extra productive with, the amount of stuff that they were working on for that. Okay. Resort World. Okay. Resort World, it's huge. It's this giant organization. They have casinos and theme parks and hotels and restaurants and everything. And so these guys were completely like huge silos in all of these different things. And the parks and all of these things. I mean, there was people were always calling in sick and everything else. There was a 63% reduction in absenteeism. Okay. Goody is a Saudi Arabian company. These guys were awesome. I mean, from the very beginning, they were already a brand congruent culture. They were like, really excited about being, like this awesome Saudi company that nobody else could touch in the region. And they were Saudi, and they were all Saudi, and they were very proud of that. And so even though they had already, started at a high level, they managed to get because these guys, they sell consumer goods, right? So they had people in different supermarkets. So their retail brand ambassador sales increased by 32% because they were able to really get the people at the ground level, to do more, to take on a more leadership role and come up with their own ideas and stuff of how to basically sell their stuff. Technique, again, this is the one that I was telling you about, a 37% increase in engineering productivity just from one thing, which was moving their desks around. Okay. And then so this one was fun. I mean, can you imagine a joint venture between a German company, okay, Mercedes or Daimler, okay, and a Chinese company, which is, BYD, which is the largest electric car company. So they came up with, they come up with Denza, which is the luxury electric car, right? These guys were having some issues, German processes, Chinese processes didn't really mix. So anyway, they basically had some issues, but they already had a certain amount of pride with the concept that they were creating, and so we were able to help them expand on that pride to overcome all of the different issues and get the Germans to relax a little bit and get the Chinese to be a little bit more in line, and everybody basically managed to work together. It was really good. So all of this starts with a personal, with the organizational culture audit. And as I mentioned, we would like to, for the COVID-19 thing, do this for free. You're welcome to go to COVID-19 cultureevolution.com and sign up. Okay, it's absolutely free, no hidden cost, no nothing. Okay, it's just actually free. And here's the thing for it. Okay. So all you have to do is just tell us about your company and what you want. And I'm open for questions now.
Thank you so much, Sir Arthur Carmazzi. Big hand, everyone. That was an amazing presentation.
Well, thank you. Okay, I didn't hear anybody clapping, though.
Well, everybody's clapping in Facebook Live right now. And,
Awesome.
We thank you so much, Sir Arthur. Thank you for your energy, for your passion. Thank you for the information you've shared with us. And see, they're now flooding us with thank yous and
Awesome.
appreciation. Okay, so thank you, sir, for making it on time. I mean, that's exactly an hour of presentation. I love the material you presented, the deck you presented. So colorful, it reflects the kind of personality you have. Truly animated, highly energized, and we appreciate that. Now, for our participants' sake, we'll give them a 2-minute break. Will that be okay, Sir Arthur?
Absolutely.
Okay, so everybody, don't you go away. We'll pause for a 2-minute break, and when we return, we'll be entertaining your questions, and of course, Sir Arthur Carmazzi will answer them one by one. Thank you so much. Don't you go away, our dear participants. See you in 2 minutes.
2 minutes.